and welcome to Final Fights. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man that is slowly walking towards my location. It's John Levingood.
Well, I hate cardio, so that's the best that you're going to get out of me.
So this is your spirit creature.
I mean, yeah, clearly they don't show it at all in the film, but clearly this monster favors like squats and deadlifts over sprints.
It's just slow. You know me, man. I've spent a lot of time over the years with this movie tracing every step that it's walked. You can go to Movies, Films, and Flicks and kind of read those articles. Just type in "It Follows" how far it traveled. I know I just said that, but John, I'm so happy you joined me for this. It's October. I wanted to do some Halloween horror Final Fights. And this is something I want to talk about because I've read a lot of reviews in this movie that make fun of Jay and Kelly and Yara and Paul. And they're saying, oh, this Scooby gang goes to this pool and comes up with this plan that's clearly not going to work. And it's just so stupid. And I'm thinking to myself, these are kids. So Jay,
they're teenagers, and we have no evidence of internet.
Exactly, they're kids. They don't have a parental structure built around them. They don't have, you know what I mean? They don't have a strong family unit to go to. And what I like is these kids. I think sometimes reviewers who are 30, 40 go, oh, that's dumb. But you got to look back to when we were that age, man. If you and I if we had no. Like, let's say we had work, right? But we worked at the local ice cream shop part-time. We wouldn't have money to drive away to Alabama or California and, like, live there for half the year or time it.
Well, I'll just get on a plane and go to Alaska or whatever. And then 5 weeks later, I'll just go fly to Miami. Yeah, I know the arguments that people make. You can make a logical argument, but it's not logical for the movie.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're a millionaire, right, then if you're Scrooge McDuck, you could do that. Right. But in this movie, these kids have nothing and they just decide, okay, what can we do? And they're not thinking, hey, I can throw a sheet over its head and shoot it in the head. I mean, which they do figure out. Smart. The sister's like super smart in this, which I love. And it's just like Kelly, she comes up with that. But they just go to this pool. They decide to go on the offensive. They're thinking to themselves, let's electrocute it. Let's see if we can electrocute it. It's not the best plan, but they're 19, 17, 16, 18. Like It makes sense to me. Also, from a production standpoint, I mean, it's easy to light. They probably replaced all the lights in the swimming pool.
Right, it's a closed set.
Closed set. You replace the lights. That's the lighting right there. And you can see the stuff on the walls. That's it. So to replace those light bulbs, get some water gear. It's pretty insular. It's pretty closed off to shoot. And okay. It makes sense to me. Let's try to electrocute it. Cool. Like, we've seen this before. Like, let's do it. It doesn't.
And the other thing is that you're basically going on one of them giving who doesn't share a lot, because usually when she sees it, it's horrifying. So you're going on one person's explanation or their ability to describe what they saw when they are terrified, when they are traumatized, for everyone else to now extrapolate how this works. And then she's recounting maybe, and then they all go visit that guy, right, who gave it to her. And he gave her the rules and he recounts things, right? He's like, look, wherever you are, it's on its way towards you. It's walking towards you, but it's walking. You have time. You can get in a car, but it's always walking towards you. And then you have her accounts, whatever they are, right, of it. So they're just thinking, well, wait, hold on. So, like, I don't understand what this is. I don't understand what you see. Whatever you're telling me, it's inconsistent because it changes its appearance, right? Sometimes it's a horrifying iteration of a person. Sometimes it just looks like a person. Sometimes it looks like a little kid with dead bird's eyes, like screeching and scrambling around. And other times it's just slowly, patiently walking towards you. So it's hard to get a beat on this thing's behavior, especially when you're just hearing it secondhand. So as best I could discern, if I'm kid X who isn't infected with this interdimensional STD, if you will, this infernal STD. Okay, so it's always moving towards you wherever you are. Okay, let's put you in the middle of a pool. Presumably it will try to reach you in the pool. You know what she never did, or at least we never saw it, right? Because things can happen in a movie that we don't see happen with the characters. But when it was trying to break into that lake beach house, it kicked a hole in the door, and then it didn't keep trying to come in. It was troubleshooting. It was Velociraptor testing the fences. It was trying to figure something out. So we had evidence of that before we got to the pool scene. But meanwhile, she's just screaming, it's out there, it's out there. Another friend comes, looks through the hole. No, it's out there, right? And then it eventually comes through. So, but just the fact that happened, everyone doesn't understand what was going on. Some people were on the fence about fully trusting that this was happening, or is their friend just crazy and they're doing their best to be supportive? That's the thing. I think that it's easy. Like you said, people forget what it's like to be young. Think about a time when you or one of your friends in high school was manic about something that's completely irrational, even by the physics of our world. It's happened. Yeah. Maybe not physics. I don't mean like some supernatural thing, right? But just some totally unreasonable fear or extrapolation of consequence. And you just get caught up in the moment. You're not thinking this is ridiculous, but I'm going to support my friend. You are in the moment troubleshooting with them. Like you feel the consequence and are trying to circumvent the consequence. So this is I get it. Yeah. It's tough to criticize this as an adult when you kind of watch something once and give your gut response of, well, that's dumb.
Yeah. It's kids. And I mean, you know what I like about the scene? It makes sense, right? They go there, they set everything up. She's like, it'll probably be here in hours. And you have the snafus. I mean, you have Paul shooting Yara in the leg.
Right.
I mean, and this thing's strong. It was throwing TVs a good 30 feet. Tube TVs.
Great aim.
Yeah. Tube TVs. I mean, so I had to move a TV. My father-in-law had to move a TV, an old one. And I'm telling you, man, they're heavy. And that thing was chucking it. You never expected it because they don't know what this thing is. So they don't know how smart it is. They don't know what it'll do. They know it's slow. It doesn't run. It has every chance in the world to run. It never does. But it, like you said, it velociraptors. It troubleshoots. And I liked how their initial plan failed, and he just started using those things to throw at Jay. It's a interesting dynamic. And then what I liked most is how Kelly, Jay, and Yara were trying to troubleshoot when she's getting stuff thrown at her. And I mean, I thought it was really interesting when Paul has the gun and the creature's waving its hand at him, and he shoots the hand and blood splatters on the wall. And then eventually Kelly puts the blanket over his head and he head shoots it, and it falls into the pool. And it's also interesting, again, how it gets headshot in the pool and it starts bleeding everywhere. So really, it's been shot twice. That didn't bleed then, but it bled in the water, which, I don't know, maybe it's like the creature from Signs. But it's just, I don't know, I think it's tense. Also, I was reading about the score. It's by this group called Disaster Piece, and this guy, Rich Vreeland. And he said he had already done a lot of high highs in it. So he's like, I threw everything in the kitchen. I threw the kitchen sink at it. I needed higher highs than the higher highs. And it needed to be strange. And I love how it builds the score in this. And I think it adds to the scene. I mean, you have the insular thing, the pool, the drowning, the creature you can't see, kids scrambling like they would. And I think it adds to a really tense finale of the movie. And so I just wanted to get it out there that this is not stupid kids doing stupid stuff. I mean, they're like you said, they're being attacked by an interdimensional STD that has different powers, that learns. I don't know. I think they did the best they could. They actually tried to be proactive. And remember the girl in the beginning? She kind of gave up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
she was just waiting for it on the beach.
And I can't
make her peace with her father.
Yeah, I can't say anything wrong with that. I mean, I've never had that chasing me, and you're a kid. I can't go into that headspace. But I don't know. I thought it was neat. Like, these kids didn't want to die. They helped. Like, it was a. You know how I like Matthew Lillard and Hackers and Pauly Shore and Son-in-Law. Like, these are kids who aren't really looked after. They're kind of doing their own thing in who knows when in Detroit. And I don't know. I dig it. I think it builds. I think that the score is excellent. I like how the kids troubleshoot throughout. It's a group effort. And I just think I just dig this final fight. I think it. I don't know. None of the kids die. Right? None of the core girls die.
Oh, no, one does.
Oh, yeah, he gets by his mom, right? In the house.
Right.
But during the final fight, these kids live. And that's never the case. Like, we watch a lot of horror movies, and The Descent, you have that final fight, maybe 2 walk away, 1 walk away. Event Horizon, 2 walk away. And this one, the core group of 4 kids, sans the older dude, Hugh. No, what was his name?
I don't recall.
Yeah.
The shaggy-haired kid.
Yeah, Greg is the one. Yeah, Greg gets killed. I don't know. And so for me, I love the different shots when she walks into the pool and like when she goes to see all the blood in the pool, the overhead shot of her hands, and they're just waiting. I like the scene where there's waiting for hours. And I guess some people could see that as a really indie aesthetic of people not saying much. But I liked they're just waiting. And that's got to be crazy tense, dude. They're just waiting to do battle with an invisible creature. It's got to be pretty scary, I would say. I don't know if you felt that. I don't know,
it was just so. You know what's interesting is that the movie, if you only saw that scene, whatever, you're a random moviegoer, you only see the final fight scene, and let's say you saw it on mute, I'll bet you'd think this scene was stupid.
How come?
Because because, you know, again, it's these people around a pool. Something comes. You eventually infer that there's a thing. It's invisible. It's throwing things. Only one person can see it. It's a strange scene, right? It's throwing things in at her. Why doesn't it just go for her, even though they laid a trap, whatever? It clearly figured it out. You know, I feel like it looks like you're doing your best to make something tense on a budget. For me, what worked about this scene so well, because conceptually it's a pretty unspectacular scene, just conceptually. But all the execution was awesome. Like you said, it felt real the way that they're waiting. They are nervous. I felt nervous. I felt a general sense of unease through the whole movie.
Yeah, just dread throughout.
Right. I mean, it's no Hereditary, right? It's not like a huge weight on my stomach, but still, you never have moments of comfort or significant levity, or diversion. You are constantly waiting for this thing to come, and you feel that your protagonists feel that. And then when it is throwing things at her, the way that they executed it was unexpected. It took them all by such surprise. It was hurling with inhuman accuracy. When it picked up the hairdryer, that thing line drived at her like Magneto launched it.
Yeah.
And it frisbeed a folding chair at her like it was a 1995 WWE cage match with blood. Like she got hit in the head. Yep. I was worried for her, and I had seen the movie before. So again, the execution was really good. But again, just conceptually, I think that if you were to pitch this scene in an elevator, I think that someone would be like, this sounds stupid. Oh, and then they throw a sheet over it so they can see it and they shoot it in the head. I think that would sound stupid, but the execution, the panic of how they did it, it wasn't some like, oh, we'll just do this. You know, that would be dumb. They panicked and they made it work. And when they did it, the kid ran up after doing a horrible job with that gun. But not that he can see what he's shooting at, don't get me wrong. But after doing a horrible job shooting that thing so far, and then when he walked up to it, you could see his unease. All but literally shaking. He goes up to it, and he has that gun held to it for almost like a half of a 1 Mississippi before he fires. Whereas in your head, you just do it. But he's not, the professional. He's a terrified kid. And this is and as if seeing telekinetically launched appliances wasn't enough for him to be fully on board with Jay's story. Now it just got more real for him. There is a 3-dimensional thing right there, right? It's not just some force. It's not just some nondescript ghost to which I can ascribe no characteristics. That makes it real. It puts it right in front of you. It is exactly right there. I think that changes it, and his reaction made sense to me.
Because he had been hit by it before too, right? So he had probably been like
launched
so
on the beach.
He knew that. That's what I like too. Is this kid knew how dangerous this thing is, and they still stuck with it. And I also got to say, I wrote about Yara for Cracked, so you understand why the sister's there. You understand why Paul is there, because Paul likes Jay. But I like that Yara is just a friend. So Yara is the only one who. She doesn't have much skin in the game. She's just a friend. And I like that she's there helping.